Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I like it.
Um, so what's up, everybody? Um,
Hi.
we are here going to talk about some energies coming up for now through the end of May, or may take us later, may take us a few weeks, just whatever. We're just kind of going by the whatever we feel today.
We're just going to have some fun. So hang
Yeah,
in there with us. Wait and see what comes up. It'll be good times, good times.
sure. So my name's Nita, and I'm the Astromystic, and this is Lisa.
I'm Lisa from Solution Evolution.
All
Nice
right.
to be here with you guys.
We work together, and when we get the two of us together, it's like magic.
It really is.
It really is. I love it. I love it.
It's a lot of fun. We've been talking a lot about some of the things that we've been facing in the current climate. We've been watching the energies do what they do, ebb and flow, and we've been trying to find like all of you, we're trying to find our place in the energy, what we're supposed to do with it, what we're supposed to do in it, how are we going to use it to our best ability. Be aware of what's coming up so that we can prepare ourselves and better take the steps that we need to take for our highest evolution. So that's kind of where we're at.
Damn. I'm trying to figure out this light situation while we're getting ready.
I'm just liking me in the dark over here. This is good.
I'm usually in the dark, that Scorpio in me.
That's funny.
Anyway, so all right, Lisa. So do you want to start us, or
I'm glad to. So I've been doing several sessions, several readings over the last couple of days, and a lot of the energy that's coming up is the deep-seated stuff that we kind of know is there, but we don't acknowledge it unless somebody brings it up and tells us this is what's going on. And what I've seen for myself personally, is a definite call to don't ever drink a big old glass of water right before you're going to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's all right.
Anyhow, so what I've been being pushed to for years now is kind of at its culmination. The energy is more or less, it's time. And, it's always time, of course. But what I've been sensing and feeling is there are no more excuses. There are no more delays. There is no more any reason that is pertinent enough to keep you from your destiny. It is time to move forward. And everything that held you back from putting yourself out there, and everything that kept you. In fact, I was talking to another friend yesterday, and she was saying, I can't put it there because then that's where all my people are. They know me, and if I put that out there, then it's a scary thing. Well, yes, it's terrifying to put yourself out there, but the purpose of doing so is to alleviate that fear within you, that that thing that stops you. Nita can tell you, I've been coughing for the last half hour. Like I literally am choking, and it's in preparation for being here. I haven't done this all day long, but in the 15 minutes before we got online, all of a sudden I have all this stuff trying to come up. And what it brought me to was this conversation with my girlfriend where she's like, well, I can't do that. All those people know me. Exactly. All those people know you as who you were, the mask you had on, the way that you were raised, what you normally do. And, that's not what this new energy is about. The new energy is not, and I say new energy, I'm just saying this evolving is not about where you came from. It's not about your story. It's not about how everybody knows you. This is about you standing in your truth, honoring who you are, and gently moving toward that. And whatever that looks like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, I have this great website and I have this great business and I'm known for what I do. No. This is all about you understanding, you know what, if I don't do this, I'm going to choke. If I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to breathe. I have got to get this out of me. And not in a panic sense, not in the I've got to shove it down your throat sense, just in the fact that you've said it out loud and now it's all around you and you can't ever take it back if you wanted to. And it's in that very moment that source will come in, wrap itself around you and say, go, I've got you. And so even if you don't think you know what that next step is going to be and you take it, source comes in right behind that and just continues to put underneath your feet the path. So it will evolve a million times over each step you take. I always liken it to the image of me stepping down and flowers blooming, stepping down and flowers blooming. Because what happens is we've had this seed planted for a really long time. We came here in this world to bloom that seed. And many of us have been pouring dirt over it for years and years, thinking that that's the right thing to do. You know, I'm cultivating over here in the dirt. And really what you're doing is you're just burying it deeper and deeper. And it's harder and harder for that nutrients to get to it, that water to get to it, for it to bloom, to break open. And
Lisa, I tell you, sorry, I have to interrupt you because a few minutes ago, when I was, like getting in the zone for this, gosh, I tell you, you and I, one of the things I was going to talk about was, just be able to breathe, and, life is such a process, and even literally and emotionally and physically and everything like that. And I was going to actually say, plant those gardens, plant the seeds of life, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical form, like it's going outside, whether in any way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you can't even make this kind of stuff up when it comes to, connections and like talking about the world and like what other people need to hear. Because
we're all doing it.
Sometimes this may resonate with some people, but some you may pick pieces out that like, oh yeah, that's totally me, or that's something I needed to hear, or like it confirms something you've been feeling, or
even better, as you're talking, you maybe, like, I think you're right. We're tracking in that sense that we're speaking to different evolutions of people, like different levels of people. And what happens is maybe you're not ready for that next step, but guess what? We planted the seed in that conversation. You allowed that that ground was already tilled. It was already ready for the planting. So when somebody comes along and has a conversation like this, it's like it sparks something in you, like, wow, that just resonates. And what happens is, whether you're ready or not to move forward, what happened is that seed got plopped in there. And now it's your opportunity to just let it kind of rest. You know how when you bake and you kind of got to let the cake rest before you do anything with it? It's similar to that. You've got to let that seed rest for a minute. And then what happens is all the synchronicities and all of the downloads and everything start coming to sort of bring your acknowledgement and awareness to, oh, there's a seed down there. You maybe don't know what it is, but you know that something changed in you in a conversation. You could feel it. Somebody says something that resonates with you, and immediately you feel some kind of like kismet with it. There's something that happens, and you're like, wow, that's for me. That's what I needed. And you won't ever know that was the seed being planted. All you know is this is resonating. So you're right. Depending on where you're at in your journey, be gentle with yourself, because you never know what conversation and what synchronicity is going to be the very thing that makes you just pop open that seed or ripen that material around the seed. Right. So anyhow, right.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's almost like, with everything we've got going on in this world right now, it's almost like, do you subconsciously do these things, or do you consciously do these things? And it's a matter of taking just like some words that you have said to me, even in all of our conversations. It's almost like a reassurance, or it's a trigger, or it's a new thought. And so you can take those certain words and just find where it lies within you to keep this going, or to just take a stroll and just breathe, like we were talking about in the beginning. It's so funny how we connect our words. I love it. It's great. But anyway, so I wanted to add that too. But
that's good. So that this is true. That's the whole point, is that I can tell you from my standpoint, for the last 5, this for me got real about 10 years ago when I got certified to be a life coach. And in that process, I was good to go. I was raring to go. I'm going to do this. And I did hundreds and hundreds of sessions. And even in that, I didn't have the confidence in me to go forward and make a business out of it, or put myself on the road. And I know now why I didn't, because I still had some lessons that needed to come forward. That's kind of a baloney statement that, oh, you need lessons, you got to learn. It didn't come out that way in the beginning. I always thought I was ready, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't move forward. Like, I already know better. Why am I not doing this? And years passed before I'm like, why am I not doing this? How come this isn't working? And every time I tried to move forward, something pulled me back. And what was pulling me back were a lot of the internal lessons that I needed to root out and then kind of paint my life with, because in a new way. So each time I tried to come out, I would get pulled back in, as the saying goes. I want to do it. No, you're not ready. And I couldn't explain it to anybody. They would say, God, Lisa, how could I follow you and follow your guidance when you're not doing it yourself? And I had no answer, because honestly, I couldn't explain why I wasn't doing it. I just knew it wasn't time. I just knew that I didn't have a piece I needed, or there was some component that had to make sense. It felt like there was always something hidden that I didn't know about that was going to magically come out. And what that was me finally stopping going out to everybody else to get answers. I was going to everybody. What do you think? Tell me what I think. I would go under the guise of, what do you think? What does it look like to you? How does this apply to you? But really in my head is like, what do I look like? Tell me, what am I supposed to do? Tell me, how come it's doing that? And in my head, all I heard was, what do you see? And how does it look like to you? And it seemed altruistic that I'm like putting it out there for everybody to munch on it and get these ideas. And secretly I'm going, give it to me. I want to know. Tell me more so I can know who to be. And the real end all be all for me was when I finally decided, and there's many steps that got me here, but the one moment that really hit me was I finally stopped. Like, it just hit me. Whoever I was talking to at the time, I just remember going, why am I asking you? Like, how in the hell are you going to know me? You don't know me. I've had hundreds of people talking to me about me, and none of them have got it right.
Exactly.
I've always been so misunderstood, and I've always been so like targeted, and I've always had this position of like, can somebody just give me a break and just show me the way? And the moment that all that madness stopped was when I just said, you know what? I don't need your advice. I don't need you to tell me what to do. And it's when I silently went in and said, I know I have within me what is needed for me to get this out. And then I started recognizing, who am I versus who everybody thinks I am. And the real trigger was, how do people really see me? How do they see me? Because how they see me is all the advice they're giving me. You got to fix this. This is wrong. You got to do this. And all the while I'm like, I don't need to do that. Like, what are you talking about? Because I couldn't fathom that people were seeing me in the way that they were seeing me. It was mind-boggling. What do you mean you don't understand what I'm saying? What do you mean? Well, it finally dawned on me that I'm speaking an entirely different language than other people. And if they're going to see me for who I really am, I've got to be able to know how they see me so that I can speak their language and show them what my language actually is in that interaction. So when I stopped asking all the questions outside of me, all the questions from within me, the answers from within me kept blooming right from out. Like, it's like somebody took a seed, cracked it right on its noggin, and it just started blooming. And so all the years that I've been watering it started to pay off. All the years that all these pieces I've been gathering for eons finally made sense. I finally knew where they belonged. I finally understood what it meant. And in that moment, it was never more clear to me that now is the time for me to come out. And I remember just the other day posting a video, and it was like and I've done videos before. It's not a big deal. I've gone on IGTV, and I've talked all about the giving and receiving cycle, and I've talked about waking up, and I've talked about our feelings and done analogies all day long. So I'm thinking, like, what's the big deal? Hey, universe, I already did this crap. What's up?
Yeah.
But the other day I put a video on Facebook, and I just said, hey, everybody, I just want to know how you're doing. Genuinely, I just really want to know how you're doing. How is this affecting you? And in my mind, it just went poof. yep, I got to move forward, because how can anybody benefit from my wisdom, my knowledge, all my hard-earned lessons if I don't put myself out there to share them? You know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
when I get online and I write things about lessons and things that I did 20 years ago, the lessons I learned, people are like, why are you so hung up on the past? You can't worry about what people think, because they weren't understanding that. I'm not talking about me
Right.
now. I see the collective energy, and I'm speaking to that girl who went through this years ago. And I want somebody who's out in the collective who sees this and says, man, I resonate with that. And I get it. You know, I was there. How did you get out? Because I need to get out. And that's why I write, because you don't take a lesson that's so hard earned and use, you know, literally alchemize it into your greatest foundation and not share it. Like, that is the
Right.
most selfish thing in the world, is to hold your lessons for yourself and not edify other people with it, because one person just needs one little seed planted. One.
Yeah. I agree.
And the
I totally
energy
agree.
right now has been, you've done the work. You're deserving of this, you know. It's almost like you're just purging yourself out of yourself so that you can be that forward energy that you know you are.
Hmm.
And as you move forward, you evolve that part of you more, and then the old stuff just keeps getting shed and shed and shed, and the, like, the layers just fall off the more you move forward. So every day that you do something that puts you in a vulnerable position, it's another layer gone. And
Yeah.
every time you share a solution for something or a new way to see something, another layer of you gone. And it's the most freeing, beautiful, wonderful thing I've ever experienced. So that's the energy right now, is for you to take the mask off. I always joke about, I don't joke, I use it as an analogy, that the world like paints you over and over as you're growing, and this is who you are. Here's another layer of paper mache. This is who you are. Here's another layer. Pretty soon you got the mask on and you've got the bulk from the paper mache. And by the time you're ready to step up, you're like so heavy and you've got all these layers and you don't even know who you are.
Hmm.
So you've got to literally chip away at the layers and let them fall naturally. You know, it's a gentle process.
Yeah.
Waking up is not a gentle process, but the process of evolvement is a gentle process. And it's genuinely honoring yourself through that step, through those processes, through the layers being taken away from you, so that by the time you get to the very vulnerable, very sensitive inner core of you, it is like tough like diamonds, because the inner core of you is the strongest matter in the universe.
Right.
So
Right.
so once you've shed all the layers, the only thing left is to shine. That's it, you know?
Yeah. And that's something I've been talking about too, is well, actually you and I have talked about it quite a bit, is the light and the dark. And I think this is a perfect time for people to really go into their subconscious,
Totally.
because Pluto just went retrograde Saturday. So for a lot of people, this is going to bring up a lot of old subconscious
Mm.
things in their mind, things that they've kept hidden from people, secrets they've kept, all this old stuff that needs to be dealt with and the layers shed.
Urged.
So yeah, purge, great word. Um, so that we can grow as a person spiritually, and because this is the awakening, this
Oh yeah,
is the time that people are going to awaken, whether really they
it's
like it
happening.
or they don't, you
Yeah,
know.
honestly, it's the thing that I just absolutely love the most. You know, I can be on a side road for days and days and weeks and months, and just la da da, everything great. But the minute I start talking about this stuff, the minute I start recognizing, and let me tell you, this year particularly has been, and I know nothing. You know me. I know nothing about astrology. I know nothing about that stuff. All I know is what I download and what I connect to. But what I recognize of this year has been, and I've been watching it happening, and slowly but surely in little pods. Oh, this group's waking up. Oh, this group's and
Mm.
and suddenly this year was like the year of just this unfoldment. I talk about in my website from the beginning of when I started this process is you stretch your boundaries and you grow your soul. You evolve.
Mhm.
That's why solution evolution. Your soul has the solution and you evolve into. Now you're just evolving into what you were to begin with. But
Right.
we have to come around full circle to see, oh wow, here's where I started. It's a lot of the way I do my sessions, right? I tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I spend the next hour, 30, 40 minutes trying to convince you that what I told you is true by using everything in your experience that you relate to. So when I get to the end, I tell you what I told you to start with, and you're like, hey, didn't you start with that?
Yeah.
So the awakening process is a lot like that. I'm watching the masculine portion of the universe, people in the universe, really, I mean, I love masculine energy. You know, we all have masculine and feminine within us. And there are times when the feminine takes over and there are times when the masculine takes over. And right now is all about the balancing of those two energies. And I've been watching the people that are waking up are the masculine energies who, it's so exciting to see them waking up because they're all of a sudden connecting the dots like, I don't have to listen to you. Now the masculine energy has never listened to anything they don't want to listen to. You know, no offense, guys, but you know, you are very firm. When you believe in something, you believe in it, and that's all there is to it, and get out of the way. But right now what's happening is all this little stuff just sparking in the back of your soul, telling you, hey, this was true and it's always been true. Hey, this is going on and this is where you're at. And I'm watching the masculine energy just like ping, 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 ping with all this light about what they know and about it's like you're sitting there and all of a sudden you'll get this like this awareness, and then it's like you turn around and look at it like, was that me? Did I think that? And it's the most exciting, fun thing to watch the masculine come to terms with what they're waking up to. And they really are waking up to their own understanding of the fullness that they are, that they
Yeah.
can be vulnerable in their strength, and they can be in their vulnerability, they can be strong. In their strength, they can be vulnerable. And I'm watching them balance out. It's like why you see the masculine being so angry sometimes, like they just spout off at something and they don't understand why. And they're doing it because this side of them is now aware of these little subtle things that the feminine energy picks up like this. The feminine
Yeah.
are like, you know, you said this like 10 years ago and this, that tone of your voice, you know, that's women. That's that, you know, you're going to bitch at me all day long, you know, come on. But
Right.
now the masculine are starting to like, I know you didn't say that, but your tone told me that, you know, they're starting to really wake up, and it's super exciting to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's gonna like this whole like I know we're only talking about like what's coming up for the
Yeah.
next 4 weeks, but
Yeah.
the whole Pluto retrograde is going to be till October. So
Yeah. Huge.
it's going to be like like you're talking about the whole masculine. They're going to find their divine within,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and you know a lot of women that have been
Got chills.
are going to start finding their masculine parts. And
Absolutely.
I think we're going to find this whole entire creative balance between like what we need to evolve in as far as our not only our awakenings but our growth and who we want to really be, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day it's all about finding who you are,
Absolutely.
what do you value, what do you
Yeah.
love in your life,
Mhm.
and
What do I want more of?
and how are you going to make that happen? Because
Yeah.
the people that are just they're asleep, that's going to remain asleep, or they're going to stroll through this life and not go after what
Take
makes them
responsibility.
happy and put their soul on fire
Yeah.
with passion and love, these people are going to like miss out on a whole lot of stuff. And it's
And that's
really
okay.
sad, and
That's
it
their
is,
experience. Yeah.
and that's right, and it's sad for people like us when we're like, oh my gosh, there's so much more, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
and
But you know what? To speak to that end real quick,
yeah,
we don't know what their other lifetimes, maybe they came from a lifetime of just battle and battle and battle, and this time they wanted to slide through it. Like, we
yeah,
don't know what their whole soul picture is.
that's true.
I joke about that, and we could talk about that another time because that's a whole different tangent.
Yeah.
But, everybody comes here of their own fruition, like
Right.
volition rather, that they come here knowing what their goals are to come into this lifetime, and so we have to honor that. Nobody awake is better risen or better edified or glorified because they're awake. That doesn't mean anything. I've seen a bunch of awake people who
Yeah.
are, holy cow, dangerous,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so when looking at the people at this level where they're deciding that they want to stay where they're at, that's okay, because they could turn on a dime and be awake tomorrow. It happens that fast. You know, for some people it happens that fast. So it's, you know, I really caution people to not compare journeys, because we all come in of our own volition. We know what our story is. We know what we're here to do. It may take us 50, 60 years to figure it out, but we do know it. And so it's honoring the process and knowing that you being asleep sort of helps me wake up a little bit more. So I just wanted to make note of that balance has to be in place in all ways. And so sometimes that means, you know, maybe I'm a victim in somebody else's story. It has nothing to do with my karma, my dharma, my nothing. It's just I'm playing this role in your story, and that's okay. So you don't want to take that on as being it's all about me, because that's just their story. You know, that's what they're going through, and you can honor that for them and then continue on your own path along the way.
Right.
I didn't mean to digress on you on
No,
that.
no, no.
But
No.
a part of that, you know, awakening, or that process of waking up, is bringing us to, and I wanted to kind of segue into the energies now that are taking us into the next month. And I really have been working with people who are learning that as we're walking this path of evolvement, that we're learning how to not have to do everything on our own, that we don't have to, being successful doesn't mean that I'm 100% responsible for me and everything that I do. Yes, in every sense of the word, yes, you have to be. But in terms of your evolving, it requires the partnerships, or the real joy and the real sustenance is in the learning how to delegate the work with people that you trust, learning how to trust them, knowing who is a part of your circle, and how you can edify each other and how you can support one another. And so delegating things that we're working on is a big part of our growth, because we have to learn our trust, how to trust ourselves. Are we bringing in the right soul circle? Are we able to trust them with our evolvement, and bringing them in on our journey as well? And in that process, once you do recognize that the people around, the souls around you, are here to support you, they're not going to talk bad about your journey. They're not going to put you down for wanting to rise higher or shine brighter. They're literally like, yeah, keep going. You're doing great. How can I help you? And so in delegating the little pieces of our journey that we don't need to do anymore, that somebody else would gladly do for us, it causes us to have to take that next step of executing our next move and moving into the energy. That's kind of what the energy is showing us, is that continue to move forward. You've got to put your plans into action, no matter what it looks like. And then that together, those two things together, help us unite in that soul family, so that we're actually exponentially evolving, like that spiral of life upward all the way through the process, instead of like what the beginning was, is battle, slide down, battle, slide down. When you're truly with your soul circle, you're getting the support you need on all different levels. So you've got to remain open to what's available to you, but trust is the basis of that movement. I trust the universe. I trust the people I brought in. And so boundaries become a very big, they've never not been big, but many people were raised without them, not knowing how to do them. It makes me a bad person. I can't do that. You know, whatever that little story is. But, you know, those boundaries are what are helping us step further into our own path, our own journey, because we know what's us. And as soon as you know what you are, who you are, what you're here to do, everything that isn't you, and you can have compassion for that energy. It's not yours. You don't have to dive into it and make it all about you. You can push that away and continue your path. And I think that's a big part of the journey, is putting those horse blinders on and just continuing to trudge forth and evolve your movement, instead of letting everything convolute that process. So in the end, those two things, the executing and the delegating process, and the trust, and the executing your plan, all bring you around to this bringing a united vision to whatever your growth is. Because as soon as you start sharing, you're going to get a tribe around you of people who are like, oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, I just went through that. Oh my God, I'm just starting that. And that causes you to unite with that grouping of people or souls who are here to really, really expand your awareness and your growing. So
Yeah.
it's about persevering the process and trusting that you're doing the right thing, even if it makes you vulnerable. That vulnerability is building a new solid foundation right underneath your feet as you're transforming.
So, you know how we work. So
I do. That's why I'm laughing.
as you're talking, I'm like, I'm envisioning like a lot of shifting of, like different things. And it's almost like you were talking about different forms and stuff. And I was thinking of clouds for some reason. And,
Yeah, yeah.
The clouds take different shapes. They're never the same. And it's almost like you got to be, you got to be paying attention, A.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, is the clouds, shading the sun? Can you look straight up? So you're always like shifting your, your thoughts, your everything.
Perspective,
And
yeah.
then, so as I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, if you take notice of like how all that feels, and then, when you said vulnerable, it was like, does this make you feel vulnerable? Or, I'm trying to like think of how to bring that together of my thoughts of what I'm trying to say. But um it's like you have to almost shape, like shift your, like shape shift through life to, to get there. You have to be vulnerable. You have to feel
Open. Oh, open.
yeah, you have to feel everything. You
Yeah,
have to feel it all.
absolutely. Absolutely.
In order to keep evolving into this space. And, right now is a hard time, and May is going to feel like somebody dumped a bucket on us,
Yeah.
because, I
You
mean,
mean
we have,
that wasn't April? I'm just kidding.
no, we just thought we had it bad in April.
Yeah.
We have, I think we have,
Truly.
6 planets going
Yeah.
to be 5 planets going to be retrograde in May.
Yeah.
Whew. I'm thinking of the clouds and how, like we're going to get rained on. It's going to be like a tsunami, but it's
Great.
just going to start sprinkling in May. And then as we go further, it's going to just like the tsunami's coming. But so it's like we want to prepare people now for just like to take in these moments and just breathe and look up at the clouds and walk through the, like we were talking in the very beginning, is walk through the, take a stroll through the park, or, go outside and plant those gardens and just start, you know, thinking of yourself and ways you can start evolving. And
Cultivating yourself.
yeah.
And I think one thing that's really, it brings me back to the conversation we had about, I just had a session with someone a little, like right before we got on this call, who, we talked about praying and about, how we often sit and pray about what we want. Like, God, please, bring me to this job, or God, please bring me financial abundance, or God, please bring me the love that I've been alone for so long. Please bring me the love that I deserve. And, please bring me the peace that I need. And please show me the financial freedom that I want. Like, we're always praying to our God or our deity or whoever it is, and our source. I'll just call it source for now. We're praying to source to bring us our answers. And a lot of what this energy right now is praying is a one-way conversation. Praying is saying, this is what I want. But what happens is you've got, and we've spoken about this, you've got to make this a round conversation. You don't, praying's beautiful. That's building your faith. You could wait an eternity for all of your little droplets to come in and say, oh, I had faith and it finally came 12 years later, 20 years later. Faith is a great thing. But faith has no time limit on it. Faith is,
that's right.
It could mean now, and it could mean 40 years from now. And so what I say in the process is, a lot of people are into the law of attraction and how it works. And it's similar to that, in that our conversation with whoever our higher source is, it has to be a round table discussion. So if I'm praying to you, I want this, then I have to be open to receive what's being given to me. So let's say, I really want that red, which car should I get, God? And then God's showing you 20 Lexuses in a row, or 20 VWs in a row, or whatever it is, your pick of the litter. And then you're like, God, please bring me my car. And they're showing you, oh, there's a sale here and there's rebates here. And God's giving you every answer in the book to answer your question, and you're not paying attention. Now, what happens is, you know, you're looking for the synchronicities and the signs, and you're using the guideposts, and this is supposed to work for you, and you're getting so frustrated because I've been asking and asking and asking. God doesn't want you to ask. He wants you to affirm and then listen for the answers. He wants you to say, oh my God, I've seen 12 ads for a Toyota. Am I supposed to get a Toyota? And then you sit and wait a little while, and then you see the next day he sends you a Ford, and you're like, what the hell? You just sent me 3 Toyotas, and now I got a Ford. So you say, God, is it a Ford? Is that what I need? And then all of a sudden you see an ad for, hey, you know, come in, it's 0 down, and it's the Ford, and you're like, holy cow. And my point to saying all this, and we can go round and around for days on examples, my point to saying all this is take the little nuggets that are being thrown to you and synchronicities as a piece of the conversation from the other side, telling you this is the direction you should go. This is what you should be looking for. Here's where the best deal is for right now. Oh, Siri wants to talk. I said Siri. Anyhow, so use that round conversation, and don't think that because you can't hear God, so to speak, you can't hear him, that you're not getting the guidance. You're getting the guidance all day long. All day long. You have to take the nuggets that are being given to you and make heads or tails of them. And then it's like you pivot, you get the nugget, you pivot and say, okay, is this it? Let me hone it in. What's the next thing? And then he'll bring you something else that's going to confirm. Oh, this is what I need to do. Oh, this is the path I need to take. And what happens on that process is the better you're at that round table conversation, that full circle conversation, that giving and receiving cycle, as soon as you realize you're having a conversation with the universe is when you start to realize how much control you have over creating your own universe in your own life. And that's what these next months are going to be about, is how much control do you have over creating your life? Because you have more than you think. And the minute you open up to that full circle conversation and really, you know, everybody, law of attraction, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's what a conversation with God is. Hey, God, I want this. God saying, well, no, you need this. But yeah, I want this, but no, you need this. And then you get more and more comfortable. Oh, I guess I really do need that. Okay, let me just hone it in and see, is that really what I need? Is that falling into place? Are all the pieces there? Oh, boom. Yeah, you're right. The answer was there all along, and I just didn't understand it. I just didn't listen. I just didn't clarify. And so that conversation with God, that full circle moment, is you manifesting to your heart's desire what you really want in your life. And I think that the energies over the next month are going to be, am I taking responsibility for myself in this moment? Am I healing myself inside? Am I honoring people outside? Am I clearly stating to the universe what I want? Am I clearly drawing my picture of my life? And am I listening when God's saying, I like it, but adjust it over this way, and this will better serve you? And the more you listen, and the more you pay attention, and the more you follow the cues, the more you're going to be creating the life that you didn't ever know you needed, but was the best thing you could have ever got.
Right. And as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking of the word release, like how much you know, right now is a good time to, you know, whatever's not working for you, whatever is not allowing you to grow and to find your true happiness or your soul's purpose and all that, you need to let those go. And I don't think anyone's going to find those in material possessions.
You know, also though, you know, you mentioned those were let go. That incites the worst kind of fear in people, like let go, because you have lack mentality, and those people think if I let it go, I'll never get it back again. And then you have the codependency is like, I let that go, then I'm never going to be able to do it on my own. And then you have the attachment to things and people, and if I let that go, you know, I'll hurt their feelings. Like you have the full gamut of emotions when you talk about the words let go. But what happens is, and this is something we talked about earlier today, you know, I'm going to let this go because right now we're not in alignment. It is just, we are not speaking the same language. We are not helping each other get past whatever we need to get past to have happen. So I'm going to step away for a minute. I'm not cutting you. I'm not taking the sword and slashing it to pieces. I am not slitting your throat. I am not beating you down. I'm just simply moving myself, or the universe is moving you away from me. Now, the important thing to remember is that nothing ever dies. Nothing ever goes away fully. That you can see trends always come back around. You can see people will always somehow find their way back into your world. Now, what happens is when it does come around again, you're a different person. And you may find that the thing you let go that didn't serve you actually came back around and is now in alignment with you. And you know what? It's okay. It's in your circle again. And so don't put yourself in that black and white position of, if I let go, it's going to be gone forever and I have to just be done with it. A lot of people like to do that black and white thinking because it's easier to let go of something if you just say, shit, I don't need it. But if you let go of it knowing, hey, we're just not in alignment right now, and that's okay, because eventually you may do your work and you might bring yourself in alignment with me. Maybe I wasn't even in alignment with you, and that's why we had to break apart. So you don't want to judge any part of this letting go process. You want to just know that nothing ever dies. Nothing ever dies. You know, it's just it's in another place. So if somebody is being removed from your life, don't fret, because I guarantee you, as you get to where you're going, you can now look at that situation and be like, wow, I have a real reverence for this person. I have a real respect for them, a real love for them, because of, you know, if I didn't move away from them, I wouldn't be here. And now that I'm here, I can really respect what they did for me and who they are and what they were going through. That compassion that you need to have for somebody else. And then lo and behold, they somehow become in alignment and you're on the path again. So you can't get caught up on what the universe is taking away from you or what you're losing or what you have to give away, God forbid. All you have to do is just accept that right now I'm not in alignment, but one day I may be again.
Or you know, and sometimes that never really happens, because I'm one of those people that believe that you know, well, I guess if it's in our soul's purpose, you know, we may circle back around. But once I leave something that relationship served its purpose, it was viable then, you know, and we both learned what we needed to learn, and it's time to, you know, shed that, let that go, because, you know, for me personally, that's a way that I grow, and that's a, you know, a way for my soul to keep progressing.
Well,
and
what that's doing for you, truthfully, is letting you move on without getting hung up on whatever you let go. That's what that's doing for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's what you were, like, we were kind of touching on both aspects of that. Is, you know,
absolutely.
people have that fear. Oh my gosh, if I do let go, will I find somebody else? Will I do this? Or you know, and I think it's a beautiful thing, because it's something I've had to learn also, is just completely letting go of all of it, because so much more is beautiful on the other side of that.
Because that's your evolution. That's what you're going into. And people don't realize that, because they're so used to being where they're at, they can't imagine that they're worthy of what's coming. But when you let go, beautiful. It opens up. What I remember, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, you know, people that just constantly stay in this fear mode of, you know, not trusting what could be on the other side of that. I hope they see this video, and I hope that they listen to the whole thing so they can, like, really think about it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know the words I was looking for, but that's, you know.
No, that's it. And I think a big part of that process of involvement, because again, that's what it is. It's you recognizing it. I remember a story I told way back when, 7 years ago or so, and I talked about this soul that was, you know, people kept seeing this plan for me of two people. There's two people for you. There's two people for you. And I would say, you know, of course, there's as many people for me. You know, there's no limit to what could line up with me. But they were saying, you know, no, there's two people for you. And I said, no, it's one person. And this is a perfect example of this. It's one person on two different journeys of their lifetime. And so there's one person on the lower road that just hasn't quite figured out how to evolve. And then there's the person on the higher road. And I'm letting go of the person on the lower road because that's just not resonating with me. It's not honoring me. It's not serving me. But then as the years have gone by, I watched this person evolve into that second person on the higher road. I watched them become that. And then all of a sudden that made that person on the higher road like align with where I'm at. And so I didn't ever look at it like I think that that's why I was given that story and that information of one person on two different roads of evolution, the lower self and the higher self. And what happens is when we're letting go of things, we're likely in the lower version of ourself, the lower vibration of ourself. And so when we're giving stuff away, it's like, I don't ever want to go back there. But I can tell you that when you evolve to the higher version, the higher vibration of yourself, you have an entirely different viewpoint, a different vantage point of everything you let go of. And you truly are filled with so much love for the experience you took from that lower vibration experience. Because not only were you there at some point and you lived there asleep as can be, when you elevated to that new level, you suddenly got new vision and you're able to really gain a perspective from that. Everyone is walking that path, lower and higher, and they have a choice somewhere in between. Do I want to evolve or do I not want to evolve? And the letting go process is a huge indicator as to how ready you are to evolve, to ascend, to allow yourself to become your fullness. And so when something comes back around, whether it's lower vibration or higher vibration, you have evolved and you can see, is this going to serve me? Did that person change? Can I be a part of that again? And sometimes the lesson is you can be a part of the lower vibration and love it for what it is and not have to be a part of it, but just still be in the same space. So you never really let go of it, and it did come back around even if it didn't serve you. And so that's what the benefit of that higher vibration elevation or ascension allows you, is freedom. It's freedom all the way around, because you've brought yourself, which I think of all things in the universe, balance is the key to everything. Because once you're center balanced and you really can be, you're not teeter-totter high or teeter-totter low, you're literally center balanced, which actually elevates you. As soon as you're elevated, you can now see all reasons, all aspects, all versions. And not only make the decision for what serves you, but to honor what didn't serve you so that you can continue to move forward. And I think that that's really where we're headed. I think that these next few months is like, how much is this shedding going to bring me to my fullness? How much of this work that I'm doing is going to turn that dark into my best strength? How can I use that shadow version of me? How can I use that darker version of me to edify the light of me?
Right. I agree.
And it's a big job, man. It is a big job, but it is not one without its benefits, you know?
Right. I agree. So I think for May, I think it's just look for the small blessings in each day and be grateful for what we have, and be on the hot pursuit of your happiness, because at the end of the day, it's all about love and happiness.
That's right. Yeah, be love and be grateful for the things that make you happy. And I think that that's a big part of the journey. I had pulled a couple cards before we got on here talking, and one of them was the transform card, one of them was the nurture card, and one of them was the affiliate card. So transformation is the choice that we're making. Do I want to evolve? The nurture part is you just be gentle with yourself in this process. It is a very difficult road, this evolving, this waking up process. It's a messy thing, but it doesn't have to be. You can honor yourself and nourish yourself in the process. Be gentle and allow yourself to take this moment to alchemize your pain into your greatest wisdom. And from that wisdom, affiliate yourself with the energies of your like vibration so that you can continue to seek out what makes you happy and helps you live in your fullness, for what it's worth.
Right. And the only thing I'll add to that is find your inner child, that, go outside and have fun and just, dig your feet into the soil, or, whatever it is, because we know we're in this times that, we don't have many options right now. So just enjoy the smaller things, and just finding that, what makes you happy, what drives your passion. Is it going outside playing in the dirt? I know it has been for me for a while.
You did so today.
I did that again today. So but so hopefully we'll all make it out fairly well, and I have high hopes that we all will do that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything else to add, Lisa?
I'm good. We could talk for days and days and days
I
and
know.
days.
I
We
know,
need to
I know.
hone the subject, you know, get it real tight so we can
Yeah.
keep it to a small meeting.
Right. So, all right, well, we'll end this meeting, and I thank everybody for coming to my channel. And like you said, we'll have all the links for Lisa's page and my page, so you can subscribe, like, follow, whichever. But we'll see you guys later. Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.